Okay, today is the 1st of March 2015, and this video is about reverse cards in general. But it's also so that we can use them in the Celtic Cross, because next we get card 2 and so on. So reverse cards, as you may know, are a kind of ongoing difficulty for many people who read cards. So my thinking is, let's become comfortable with them, and we'll see how they can add to our reading. They're going to give. I'll show you how they can give more information, and we'll see that it's not that difficult to use them. I'll make a couple of suggestions on how they should be approached, mention a couple of things, and show how the other approaches lead to difficulty. So let me begin this way. Let's say you consult some kind of expert. Okay, it can be a lawyer, a counsellor, a medical person, whatever, whoever it is, and the expert tells you, okay, you're going to get what you want, whatever it is. So a couple of weeks go by and it hasn't happened, and then another week goes by and it still hasn't happened, and you begin to wonder, is it going to happen? And you begin to worry and you doubt, and maybe you change your mind and wish you hadn't wanted that thing or asked for that thing. You wish you'd gone for something else, and maybe you get really worried and you give up and you actually shift and do something else. What if the expert had told you, when they told you we're going to get what you want, but it's going to take a bit longer than you expected because a couple of other people maybe had to get their material together before your desire could be fulfilled? So when it doesn't happen in a couple of weeks, you remember you were told to be patient, so you are patient, and you stick to your plan, and you work on small details so that everything is in better shape when the thing actually does happen. So let's say you have a tarot reading, and the reader says you're going to get what you want, and you accept this, but after a couple of weeks it hasn't happened, and you really wanted it, so it hasn't happened. You begin to doubt, right? Same story. If the reader had told you as well as you're going to get what you want, but they told you that you're going to have to be a bit patient because it's not going to happen as quickly as you want or as quickly as you expect because of whatever reason, right? So depending on the cards that come up. So if they say it's not going to happen exactly as you think because of this and this, then you would have dealt better with the situation and with having to wait. If you use reverse cards, you can tell the questioner maybe to be patient because there's going to probably be a delay. Or you can say something like, it's not going to happen the usual way. It's a reverse card. Or something is going to interfere with the normal course of events, what you would normally expect to happen. Or you mention something, you, the reader, mentions something that makes sense depending on the question that was asked or the situation that's being asked about. So what I'm suggesting is try considering a reverse card along one or more of these lines. Right? When a reverse card appears in a spread, then depending if it's referring to the past, present or future, something wasn't quite right, isn't quite right, or won't be quite right. Past, present or future. So you may say it's not going to be quite the way you thought it would be, or quite the way you think it will be, or it was different to what you imagined or thought or expected or suspected, or it didn't turn out the way it should have. These are all because the card was reversed. It's a bit like maybe you make a statement, but the statement ends with a question mark to show that something can get in the way, or there's going to be, or there can be, or there was a complication. Or it's going to be a bit different from normal, or from what's usual, or from what happened in the past, or what would normally have happened in the past. So you say something like, it's going to be okay, and then you shake your head. Or the house is going to sell, right? Same idea. Or the relationship's going to get better. And my shaking the head is the question mark. And it's trying to indicate that, yes, it's going to work, but something else is going on with the situation. So you think about the question and what kind of thing can go wrong. Because not everything can go wrong with every situation. depending on the situation, certain glitches can happen and not other glitches. Right, so you think about the kind of thing that can go wrong and use the card that is reversed to make some kind of specific comment about what will go wrong or what could go wrong. So let's say you're selling a house, okay, and there's a reverse card for, let's say, for the future. So there's going to be a complication, reverse card, and you think, what sort of complication can you have when you're selling a house? Right, so it could be, I'll buy your house, but first I need to sell my own. But that is going to take a little bit longer than expected, so you're going to have to wait. I want to buy and you want to sell, but it's not as simple as that. There's a reverse card. Or let's say there's a problem with, because you're selling a house, there could be a problem with paperwork because it's a legal matter as well. So let's say you get the 3 of coins reversed. You know, that shows the fellow with the expert with the chisel and so on, and the 2 people with the plans, right? So the 3 of Pentacles is a card of the master, right? But it's a legal question and it's about selling a house. So double check the paperwork, or make sure that people don't forget to do what they say they'll do, or get a written report from the real estate agent or something. Do something so you kind of keep on top of things and don't just leave it up to other people. Because there's an expert, the 3 of Pentacles, but if you leave it up to the expert, they're going to make a mistake, or they're going to forget something, or something's going to not work out the way it should. Or let's say it's about selling a house and you get the 2 of Cups reversed. So this can indicate that people are going to have second thoughts, or they're attached, they love what they have, 2 of Cups, so they don't want to change. Or maybe there's a couple, a man and a woman in the card. The couple wants to buy the house, but one of them doesn't want to. And so the other one, the first one, has to convince them that it's a good move. That could be what the 2 of Cups reverse represents in a question about selling a house. So you think about the question, and then you consider what kind of activity could make sense as a glitch or as an obstacle for that particular question or that kind of question. So you identify what sort of impasse or complication it could be, and then talk about what the questioner can do or should do about it. So let's say it's that 2 of Cups reversed. And you figure that it could be that one of the people is having doubts or is going to have doubts about buying the house. So what makes sense? Maybe put together a package that lists all the good things and the advantages of owning your house. It's good for schools, a good neighborhood, there's a sense of community, it's inexpensive to run, and so on. So you get this data and this information and you print it up and give it to all the people who come to look at the house. So this is kind of dealing with, you identify the potential problem that people may not be convinced, and you figure out, so that's one way of dealing with a potential problem shown by a reverse card. So I'm going to suggest that you forget the weird meanings you find in books. A lot of the meanings you get are kind of random and don't seem to have any connection with the card itself, with what's in the picture. So I'm saying, don't feel these authors know more than you and you have to do what they say. It's okay to ignore them and to disregard them. You'll find as well that various blogs and websites on the internet have suggestions for how to deal with reverse cards. So they say things like, a reverse card, take the rule as a reverse card shows the opposite of the upright meaning. Or a reverse card shows that a bad situation is going to be even worse, right? That kind of thing. That's a sort of general approach to how you deal with the reverse cards. So let's say, okay, there's the 10 of Swords, right? And we've got the first person lying face down. We've got 9 swords in the back, stabbed in the back, and 1 in the sand beside him, okay? So let's say it shows defeat and ruin. And you can see that from the picture. But when it's reversed, when it's upside down, does it show even more defeat Or does it show which would be the reverse card, the reverse bad card makes it worse? Or does it show the opposite? So if this is ruin and defeat, this is victory. Or if there's nobody involved in the question that's being asked about and it's a personal matter, then nobody can stab you in the back, right? So the Ten of Swords can mean being stabbed in the back, but how do you include this apparent meaning in the answer when there's nobody to stab you in the back? Do you then have to say you'll stab yourself in the back? Maybe. The problem, I think, with reverse cards and that kind of meaning or that kind of approach, I think it arises because you're trying to use, or it arises when you try to use fixed meanings instead of seeing what sense the card makes for the question. Because we can say the Ten of Swords is defeat. But what is this defeat? Does the Ten of Swords defeat show somebody who experiences defeat, but they shrug their shoulders and they say, that's life. You win some, you lose some, and they move on. And they take the defeat in their stride, and they're not that upset. Yes, there's defeat, but what's the effect on the person? Or maybe that Ten of Swords, it shows defeat, but it shows somebody, they're defeated, but they come back stronger because of the upset or the defeat that they suffered. There's a line in Idiot Win by Bob Dylan, and he says, in the final end, he won the war after losing every battle. So that could be the Ten of Swords. You lose every battle, but it doesn't matter because you're going to win the war. Or maybe that Ten of Swords is the person who experiences defeat and says, well, I'm never going to try that again, right? So defeat for that person is kind of like the final straw. And it completely changes their lifestyle, let's say. So I think when you start with a meaning like this, when you start with a word or a couple of words and not a picture, and you would try to apply the word, you can find yourself in a dead end. But if we remember that with the tarot, we start with people and their actions and behavior and their way of doing things, and that it's behavior and actions that the tarot expands on and works with. So if we remember that with the tarot, we're dealing with people and their behavior, we can then look at the picture and make sense of it. Because somehow learning meanings or apparent meanings of cards, it's too fixed and it's a little bit unconnected with life. If we think of what sense a card makes, we've got a much better chance of seeing the human side of the spread or the human side of the card. So that's what I think we can do with reverse cards, and I'll be referring to reverse cards with the remaining positions in the Celtic Cross series that next week is going to be card 2. If you have comments or questions, let me know. And one last thing is, I'm putting together this other site, and it's going to be a membership site, free membership, but you need to join to get to more information or maybe more advanced information. And my first thought was, I'll get it all together, then I'll make it open. But if I do that, I'm never going to get to it. So what I'm going to do is, I hope that by next weekend, I'll have something started and you can join and we'll take it from there. Because one of the things I'd like to do is have more discussion, right? People leave comments in YouTube videos, and I can give a little bit of an answer, but I've got limited space. Whereas I think I'd like to see what you want to know or what you would like to talk about. So if people leave a comment, I can then start a more detailed, more in-depth discussion about the particular point that the person makes. And I think that would be useful. And it can be done through a site, but it really can't be done on YouTube. So it's kind of the next step after YouTube, or the next step as well as YouTube. And there'll be audio downloads and videos and extra information in the members area of the site. So that's it. And so next week is going to be the Celtic Cross card 2, I think. But things may change in the meantime. Otherwise, I'll see you next week, so have a good week. Thanks a lot.